Namaskar.
Namaskar.
I'm your friend Salike, a FDA graduate, FDES graduate, and a past zone chairperson, and a past GLT coordinator for the District 320B. And then I also do professional training. And apart from this, I do training for lions too most of the times. This is about myself. And then we are going to talk to all our line members who are present here, a topic on time management, which is something very important for each one of us. Can you tell me, how many times did you feel that time was not sufficient for you? Time was not enough for you. Yeah, Vinay.
Every time I find time is short.
Time is short to you. So why do you think that time is short to you?
I am not able to finish my things in time.
Okay. How about you, madam?
When I have planned it, time is not short.
Okay, when you have planned, the time is never short to you. Abhijit, Dr. Abhijit.
Few times it happens is that you start late
Okay.
working on it, and later you have a lot of work pending, and that's what happens with me.
So that means that practically speaking, we can really manage our own time, but sometimes we falter. The reason is we don't manage ourselves in other way, if you look into that. So it's not only you, there are so many people like us. Okay. Now let me know one thing, what really goes wrong. Now when it comes to the time, importance of the time, everybody knows the importance of the time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Why is it so important for us?
If we
Why is
slip-
it so important?
If we slip, we'll never get back.
If we slip, the time will not come back. Okay? Right?
Right.
Then
Okay.
There are lots of proverbs related to that.
you have lot of proverbs. Okay? Then the river flows, the flow will never come back, that drop. You always know that. And even though we stop our watch, but
Time is
the
up.
nature time doesn't stop. Isn't it? The clock continues. Right? Stephen Covey has really rightly said, compass, not the clock. Compass is something, you need to have direction. When you make a direction, I'm sure you can really do good things. But sometimes what happens, we don't look into the aspect of that. Now tell me, how many times you really felt that time is not enough for me?
When I procrastinate things,
When you procrastinated, okay? When you procrastinate things, you think that I don't have time, okay? Yes, Abhijit?
When you start late, or you think you can easily do it.
Okay, when you
assume
start
that
late, you can easily do it.
No,
okay?
you feel a few times that you can easily do it. In this much time, it's okay. I don't need to do it now. I'll do it later.
Okay.
Push it for further time.
मेरे को चलता है, मतलब I'll do
See
it.
it later.
I know that I'm strong enough that I can
and then
manage.
I suddenly feel that time is less and I have to finish it, and it is not possible.
Okay, then how about you, Vinay?
As I told you, I always think that I have lots of time, so I start slowly.
Okay, fine. This is something which you look at a general perspective. Now, when you look at the Lionism perspective, what do you think like? What really happens to us?
we don't start on time and end on time.
We don't start on time and end on time. That's the biggest issue where we are facing from many years. Okay, right?
Our goals are not achieved. Whatever we were planning, that we are not able to achieve.
Okay, we were not able to achieve whatever we want.
wanted.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Vinay,
What we find that we at the start of the year we are given targets.
okay,
That as we are given targets, so we plan our calendar like that.
okay,
In the middle, the governor says, "Let's do this one," or the international sends something. So all our planning gets spoiled.
disturbed. Okay,
So that point of time, we had a planning for our own projects. So then we have to plan for the governor's projects.
okay.
that's
So
the
these
time.
are, you mean to say that responsibilities and other activities which make. But let me tell you one thing. It is very important for us. It's not only wherever you are doing, but personal life and professional life, time management is a must. If you don't manage the time, it's very difficult. That's what, these different areas, whether you work, you need to make your timing perfect. Okay, you need to prepare your calendar, you need to spend time on your mails, you need to spend time what the reporting system you need to do as a line member. Okay, and then whenever people networking, how you network with the people is very important. and then also see that there are something, like which you need to spend a lot of time, like which you are looking at. You don't know how to get the solution for that. And I suggest you that you need to spend time to that. And then sometimes, like people get misunderstood with some of the things, like that communication also plays a very important role into that. Now what we do is, please open your page 1 of your participant manual. We have a small story there. Okay. So what happens is, it's a one-day activity of a Lions Club president by name Maria. Okay. So I want you to read. Biran, can you read one 6:30 a.m. wala?
6:30 a.m.
Okay.
Lion Maria's alarm goes off.
Okay.
Having been particularly busy the last few weeks,
Okay.
she is exhausted and decides that she could use a few more minutes of sleep.
Okay. So, one sec. 7:30 a.m.
7:30 a.m. Ati. An hour later, Maria wakes up in a panic. The few extra minutes to sleep have turned into an entire hour, and now she'll be late or for work. On the commute to her office, Maria realizes she has forgotten the agenda and the related material she's prepared for this evening's Lions Club meeting and will have to return home before the meeting.
Okay. 8:45 to 12. Abhijit.
Maria arrives late to work at 8:45, flustered and stressed during the next few hours. She attempts to make progress on an important work assignment, but is constantly interrupted by client phone calls and co-workers stopping her by her office to catch up on the latest office gossip.
Okay. 1:15 to 2:30. Biran.
Maria attends a department meeting. During the meeting, her manager appoints Maria to be the project manager on a new, exciting assignment. Maria accepts the task, even though it will mean additional responsibility to her already heavy workload.
Okay.
When Maria returns to her office after the meeting, she opens an email from a co-worker, James, in the name. James asks Maria if she could be the contact person for one of his clients while he's out of town on vacation. She responds that she's able to do it and thinks, I don't really have time for this, but I guess James needs my help.
Okay. 2:45 to 4:30.
Maria spends the afternoon trying to finish up a last-minute work assignment, but spends at least 30 minutes looking for a stack of completed client forms. She is unable to finish the assignment before leaving work for the day, and will have to complete it first thing in the morning.
Okay. 4:45 to 6:15. Biran.
Maria leaves work to go to her daughter's soccer game, which she promised she would attend. After the game, she drops her daughter off at home and retrieves the materials she needs to collect. She needs to conduct her Lions Club meeting.
Okay.
During the
Madam.
club meeting, a discussion takes place about the need for a new service project that will help support the local library, which has been struggling financially for several months. The members want to organize a book drive and a fundraiser involving local business. Unfortunately, no one volunteers to serve as a committee chair for the project, so Maria volunteers herself.
Yeah, a last one.
When
9 to
Maria
10:30.
arrives home after the meeting, she spends the next hour and a half to catch up on her personal emails. She also knows she needs to get started on a presentation that she is giving at the district convention in 2 weeks, but decides to put off until another time. Finally, Maria goes to bed at 10:30 p.m.
Everybody were you presidents?
Yes.
You were a president? You were a president?
Yes.
You were a president?
Yes.
Now you tell me, how many times you had come across this situation that Maria had in her
Many
life?
Many times.
Many times. So these are the things that are negatives, like that. These make us at difficult times to, we need to make ourselves better at this situation. Now what happens is, like suppose we would have planned better this same thing, okay, that would have really helped me to do best. Now the real thing is, what happens to most of us, like we try to do things, we don't try to make things, but we, again, like this is a case study which you are going to do time and again in the program, so that it helps us to understand and it also gives a solution for that. Okay, so let me tell you the objective of the session, right? Describe the importance of the time. What's the importance for the time for us? Okay, and then the other one, recognize what are the common obstacles. Like there can be so many obstacles, but we can look into the common obstacles. And then the last one we are going to talk about, like once we know these are the problems, we need to identify the solutions. That solutions will make or rather the strategies which help us to make ourselves best. Unless and until we don't go into the turbulence, we don't know how to come out of it. So let's practice. But one thing is, how to come out is also very, very important for us, right? Now, I'll tell you one thing, what are the obstacles for us? What are the obstacles?
We don't plan.
We don't plan, okay.
We plan
Planning is an obstacle, okay. Planning is an obstacle, okay. Then what's the next one? What's the obstacle we take?
We pile up things.
Okay, pile up.
Proper distribution of
pile, okay.
No proper distribution of time.
Workload has been not shifted.
Not delegating things,
Not
okay.
delegating.
Not delegating, okay.
Not able to say no.
Okay. Saying no, okay. Then
Been involved in many things.
Yes.
Uh,
Jack of all trades and master of none.
involving in so many items, okay. Involving
We
in
can
so
do
many
certain
activities,
things, but we cannot
right.
do justice.
Then
She wants to satisfy, when we want to satisfy everyone.
so that's what, like when you don't want to say no to anyone, these are the things that we are going to have. Okay, then what more? What more? Fine, shall we see something what we have noted, right? So biggest thing is, you have unclear objectives. You have unclear objectives, and this will make you hell out of it. You may not be comfortable. You won't like to prioritize, rather you don't prioritize things, like how I can really get things done, like that. These are the obstacles will come one after the other, okay? And then the other one, it's a personal disorganization. We don't organize ourselves properly, right? The other one, lack of planning. I don't plan. That's what we were talking, That's what here, we made a note of it, right? And then the distractions must. You cannot expect anything, since at least we are in Nepal, so a lot of phone calls are missing. Otherwise,
Distractions.
a lot of people will call you, then you say, sir, it is important, can I go out to talk, all these things. They make to you, okay? And then, what our friend was talking is ability to say no, inability to say no. Okay, now we'll just run into the next ones and then we'll come back again, okay? Procrastination, it's a very dangerous disease. If you really ask me, it's a virus. It's a virus. We never try to procrastinate our things, Believe me, yesterday night I was watching movie Train to Busan. Train to Busan in the TV. Somebody gets a virus. I was seeing from half of that. Somebody gets a virus, then the minute they go and bite someone, the virus gets attacked to them. So ultimately, whole passengers in the train gets affected. And then the engine driver wants to run off. But what happens is, there is a company CEO who also pulls the engine driver out and then he puts him again. Ultimately, even the CEO of a company also gets affected with the virus. So that's a big story, sometimes we be indecisiveness. The other one, personal commitments. It's not, you are a line member. Remember, you are a line member. It doesn't mean that you are a voluntary organization and you are voluntary or honorary for that. You need your personal life too, isn't it? You have to satisfy your personal commitments too. And then, how many of you doesn't have the professional obligations? You are a doctor, you have your profession, you have your clinic,
Yes.
twice a day or thrice a day.
Yes.
Madam, you are a
Homemaker is more difficult.
homemaker is more difficult. See, now a lot of people say that, homemaker, subah khana banao, you are very happy, then you will again do only in the night. But how much pain they take, we need to understand that. Okay. So what? So profession?
I work for a real estate company.
You work for a real estate company. Again, like professional obligations. Everybody has a lot of things, And then being involved in too many
Things.
multitasking. Multitasking. Then stress.
Fatigue, tiredness.
These are the obstacles we always get. Moving on to the things, unclear objectives. Why we have unclear objectives? What really happens? Why it is unclear
We
objective?
are
to
not
us?
able to manage.
We are not able to?
Manage.
Okay, then?
We don't know what is important, what is unimportant. We are not able to prioritize.
We
Okay.
are not sincere or not guessing what could be the outcome. So the objective is not clear. And
Okay,
we
like
don't
what
know.
we do now is, we have this case study in our hand right now, okay? Take page 1, 2, whatever we have read now, okay? Now, just just read it, and I'm going to give you 8 minutes time. We'll have 8 minutes time to that, and then I want you to discuss within you what really the problem Maria is facing. Okay, please. Your time starts now. Discuss, Binay, Anand Kumari madam,
Yes,
and
yes,
Vijay,
yes,
three
yes,
of you.
yes.
All three of you. All three of
I
you.
thought we will do separate.
No. All three of you, you talk and then have a discussion.
Okay.
She wakes up late.
She wakes up late.
Note it down.
Huh?
Jot it down. She
She?
wakes up late.
Wakes up late.
No, we have to take this into consideration.
Consideration, unclear
These things.
objectives.
So there is no planning. But she
No.
See,
No,
the
what
same
she
points
says
you
is
will
correct.
find on the page
Stress
3
and-
of the
See,
manual. Okay.
she is tired and fatigued.
That one is the point, stress and fatigue.
Stress and fatigue.
Inability to say no.
So neglect.
Then professional
Wait.
obligation.
Ability to say
No.
no. Then
Professional obligations.
Disorganization.
Professional obligations. Personal
Personal
disorganization.
commitments.
Personal disorganization.
personal
Personal disorganization.
disorganization.
Distractions and interruptions.
Destruction.
Don't read here. You just read what problem she is facing.
So all we are
Obstacles.
relating it.
We'll ask that. We'll do it later. Okay.
Acha.
First, think where all she is going wrong. Which is the place. Where she is able to be comfortable. All these things. Let us see that.
She's never been comfortable at all.
Yeah. Never been comfortable. Not happy. Very busy lady.
No, first she lay. She thought she'll lie for some more time.
Okay.
When she realizes she got late, she was in a panic.
Okay. Yeah. Brainstorm. Yeah, Vijay. Join them.
She had personal commitments.
Hmm.
So that aggravated all the problems that she had to go for her
Daughters.
Daughters, go soccer match.
soccer match. And, that
And again she
had
came
to
back
spend
to
that
collect the agenda which she's forgotten.
While going, if she had taken, she would not have
If
faced
she
this.
made, and if
She would
she
have
made a
saved the time.
checklist,
Hmm.
Check.
and she made a checklist, she would have
Yes, she
remembered that
forgot
she
to
needs
do
to
the
take that
checklist.
agenda.
She always misses the agenda. Wherever it is, whether it is a personal agenda or a Lions Club agenda, she
And one thing, she always pushes it for the next day.
Yes.
I'll do it later. She thinks that she'll do it later and the work keeps on piling.
to the next day or later.
And she's involved in too many things at a single point of time. So,
Too many things she's involved.
so because of that, she has to do multitasking.
Binay, can we join them? I know that mobile is important, but still activity is also important for us. Yeah, move on, move on. Move on. You're doing good. You're doing good. You're doing
We have
good.
time?
Yeah? Yeah, you got a time up. You still have time. You still have
We
time.
are worried whether because you are on time management, whether the proper track or not. So we are worried. She never had an inability to say no, you said.
Yeah, Vinay, what do you say there? No?
They are on the right track.
Yeah, I'm not asking you they are on the right track. Add your points also into
Your
that.
contribution. See, in afternoon, soon after lunch, again she's struggling. She's unable to complete the assignment.
She has never settled down since morning.
The whole day from the
She's a-
morning.
She never settles down because she has not planned.
Planned.
As Dr.
No
Abhijit
checklist,
told,
no planning.
she should have made a checklist the previous night that tomorrow morning this thing I have to do. Tomorrow afternoon, it says
Meeting
that
with James.
we should
the
make a
department.
checklist always.
And she doesn't say no to anybody for everything. She's saying yes. So because of that,
She's too much
her
accompanying
work is
herself.
adding up.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the guts to say no.
No.
Yeah.
She tries to satisfy.
Yeah, another
everybody.
3 minutes. Another 3 minutes.
She wants to satisfy everyone.
But we should know even God cannot make everyone happy. Who she is? She is only Maria, or club president.
And she's not realistic.
Okay.
No, she is realistic. I'll not say she is not realistic. I'll say she is realistic. She is a human being. That's why she is making mistakes. She's not a machine. She's not a computer. She's not God. She is a human being. That's why she is making mistakes.
She
And
must
she
know her
wants.
limits.
No. That's why. See, we human
To
beings.
what extent she can extend and help.
Desires. You have to try to extend more and more. You should not limit yourself.
Service to neighbor. Treat your neighbor.
The more you should, if you don't have the desire to do something, you cannot do something. If you think that I'm limited to this one, no. The sky is the limit.
But where is perfection? Where is the performance?
Try again.
Performance must be in the index of what you do.
Try
The
to-
whole day you toil and the performance is zero.
That's why no. Basic thing is that planning. She doesn't plan.
When you work, you have to plan.
Yes. The only thing is that planning.
They lack planning, you mean to say.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Good job done. One sec.
Yes, sir. Want to read it?
No. 1 sec. I'll tell you what is to be done. Yeah, now let's go with the first point. Unclear objectives and priorities. Where do you think that the Madam Maria was faltering? When it comes to the first point, unclear objectives and prioritizing.
She was not able to prioritize anyone. In the afternoon session,
Okay,
she had to have the meeting with the team leader.
Okay.
She has to prepare an agenda. Agenda preparation helps you to go in the proper direction. There she faltered.
there she faltered. Okay,
Again, she has to do an agenda. She has to take an agenda to the club.
okay.
She prepared, but she did not bother to take it as a checklist.
And one more thing, don't you think that even the presentation at the convention was also important because so many people coming in,
2 weeks time,
1,000 or
again she
1,500 people
postponed it.
participating in a convention and
She
she gets a
postponed it.
chance to speak,
Yes.
isn't it? So she should be very serious
The
about
rare
that.
coveted opportunity also she has not taken seriously.
Yeah. Then Binay, can you just tell me, how do you think that she is very much personally disorganized?
Personally disorganized when she knows very nicely that today will be a hectic day for me.
Okay.
Why is she sleeping some more time?
Okay.
Number 2, she knows that tomorrow is a hectic day to me. I should prioritize what to do, when to do, which one to do first, second, third. Then again, she should have thought that as she will have a hectic day, either she should have told her husband or told a friend to pick up
The daughter.
daughter. Because
okay.
as she is helpful to everyone.
Okay.
As she is helpful to everyone.
So you mean to say that for the evening meeting agenda she did carry, so she was not able to delegate the work to someone, she wanted to do on her own, which becomes an additional work for her, in fact. Yeah. And the other point, she also neglected to schedule a work meeting
Yes.
in her calendar and misplaced the meeting agenda at home.
At home.
So that's where, see, one thing I'll tell you, like most of the things, like people talk, I always feel that human beings are only people who commit mistakes. Isn't it? An animal will not commit a mistake. Human being only commits a mistake. But one thing is, human being gets a chance to learn from those mistakes. That's what we have to do. And then why don't you think that lack of planning? What do you think that? What was
She
lacking in
totally
her planning?
never did planning anywhere.
Okay. She didn't prepare a checklist for the day.
Checklist for the day. Correct.
Things to do. Things to do. She never tried for that. In fact. Okay. Then there were a lot of distractions to her. What distractions were there for her?
James gave a ring,
Okay.
and she, instead of saying no,
Mm.
she knows that she's overburdened.
That is saying no.
Yes.
Okay. That's
So
another point.
no. James gave it.
Okay. I'm talking about distractions.
Just gave-
How do you get distracted?
See, James gave a ring, and she should not have answered it. She
Okay.
was the one who she picked up,
So interruption with the phone calls.
Yes.
So she should have avoided it.
avoided.
Right? And the other point, inability to say no. How do you rate, how do you feel that she was unable to say
She
no?
already her hands are full.
Okay.
How can she do justification for a new
What
task?
Abhijit? What do you say?
She would have
Inability
done
to
it
say
like-
no.
She wants to keep everyone happy, so
Don't you think that
Because of that-
the person was talking her and saying that you are in my absence, you are going to take care of my job?
right.
So you are going to take note of those people, the clients who call. So this again, she's so busy, but still she wants to take everything, but she don't want to say no. That's the biggest issue, right? And then what do you think the procrastination? Where did she falter in the procrastination?
She assumed that
Convention.
she'll do it very easily, and she's landed up into a problem now.
Okay, which was the main for her, no? Elite people are called for something, and she was one of the elite meeting for district convention. And then where she could not talk, she could not prepare a speech, she's procrastinating. 15 days, hai na, so let me work. Isn't it? That's what her attitude. So look into that. And then, everybody has a personal commitments. Yes? What was the personal commitment to her?
She has to go and fetch her daughter from the soccer.
She had
Soccer
told-
team.
she had told the
that
daughter that-
even the child should be taken care. That was very important for us. And then, professional obligation. Maria was appointed as a project manager.
project manager.
Isn't it? So these are all the things that makes her very difficult to manage. And then being involved into too many commitments at the same
That's the
time.
reason why she was very stressful, she was fatigued, and she wanted to rest for 1 more hour.
Yes. And she wanted to check the mails. She went to bed at 10:30. So that really made her into different. Now, see, this is one instance where we have taken. And can you share your personal experience as a lion or as a professional? Where you went wrong when you were trying to do things? You know that I'm doing wrong, I'm not able to manage time, but still, how did you do that, Abhijit?
Was to catch a flight.
Mm.
I left out from the house half an hour before
Okay.
the scheduled time by which I should be reaching. I thought by the distance wise I might easily reach.
Yes.
But I didn't assume that the traffic will be overloaded at this point of the time, and I had to miss the flight.
Okay, yeah. Then how about you, madam?
For me, it is a different experience. That is, normally I do a checklist. One day I forgot to do the checklist. That day was the D-Day. Everything was a chain action. One by one, from everyone I got the scolding. You being the responsible lady, you have to take this. Everyone were offering advices. You must know, you must know. Then that day I decided that we have to have a checklist before going to sleep. What we have to do, what we are going to do tomorrow.
Okay.
So that day my husband had to take an important decision. Forgot to remind him.
My goodness. Important decision, forgetting. Okay. Binay, what's your personal experience on this?
On which one? On the Maria one?
No, not on Maria.
Personal.
Similar situation. Now you are working with a real estate consultant, isn't it? So,
No, I-
how did you felt,
See, what I feel is that in our this one real estate thing, any time we are all, because I look after the maintenance and the handover of the company, and we have 3 to 4 sites where near about every society has no more than 1,000 apartments. So which means near about 5,000, 6,000 people every day are looked after.
Okay.
So anyone, a simple thing, we say no, it's very difficult to make a glass of milk,
Okay.
or very easy you can say. But if a drop of lemon falls, everything goes
Yes, wrong.
Now here, as we say, this one, when I'm doing something, I'm responsible for my success. But in my job, we are responsible for my success.
So that's where, like it doesn't mean that in job also you have to do one.
Yes.
Now you are talking about your personal experiences. Now, how did it made your professional commitment and alliance, how did it trouble you? I want you to share some good experience where your lionism work as well as your professional work troubled you to manage things.
It happens many of the times that number of patients in my profession is more,
Yeah.
or as suddenly some emergency lands up and I have a meeting to attend or a meeting to conduct, and because of that my professional
Gets imbalanced.
gets imbalanced.
Okay. You leave the patient and go to the Lions meeting?
Cannot, because that's my
Yeah.
profession.
Because then what will you do now? You are a president and you have a patient there. How do you manage the things now?
Then I delegate the work to my first VP that you take over,
Okay.
and he can manage.
That's a
it.
good solution. See, that's a good solution. Yeah, madam. How about you?
And there are religious functions at home, and we have some club meetings. It's really stressful.
How do you manage them? I am talking about professional kacha. You
Yeah.
said homemaker. Homemaker.
Homemaker.
Fine. Yeah. So religious customs when happening, like
And, regular meetings.
most of the times, Sankranti comes, Sankranti you have a lot of religious things to be done.
Done.
And then your club people say that, chalo, we'll go for a kite flying. Okay, that becomes difficult for you.
It's stressful. It's
Yeah,
very
it becomes stressful. Now you tell me, you already told me the professional. Now I want you to talk about personal. You told me about professional. I want your personal and then lionism. How you were not able to match?
Yeah, in the real estate business, we say people come to our projects mostly on Sundays or
I'm
something.
asking you,
I'm coming.
lionism and personal.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Sunday is on this one.
Okay.
So everyone has an off on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I will have a working on Sunday.
Okay.
So as a result, I work on Sunday. So my family, where everyone goes for outing on Sunday, my family and myself cannot go on a Sunday. So we have to go on a weekday.
Okay.
Number one.
Hmm.
Number two, what happens in Lions Club? Most projects or any convention happens mostly on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
That also hampers.
Us in doing things. Okay. So, see, a lot of times, like the person who can really manage is more important. It doesn't mean that we don't have solutions. We have to plan properly. For that, let's go into the session, the strategies. How can I strategize myself so that I'm not going to face? Because, see, one thing I'll tell you, I was talking about human being, commit mistakes, but learn from that. This is where, once you experience such type of instance, now your plan has to be in such a way that next time I'm not going to repeat. Next time I'm not going to commit the same. That should be our idea of doing things. Okay. Now, the set objectives. Okay. Set objectives, a lot of times, the moment we talk about objectives, we remember one thing called SMART.
Smart goals.
What is SMART?
Specific. Measurable.
I am asking you SMART in a general English. I am not asking you
Acronym.
what's goal setting.
Smart.
SMART in general meaning.
You have to be
Something
very-
which you have done thinking critically, or
General English SMART is good looking.
Yes.
Acha dikhna hai, isn't it? I should be good. Smart looking is something, like I should look good. See, whenever you derive your things, it doesn't mean the moment you keep smart, it has to be only restricted to goal setting. It can be anything. Now, what is yes now? Let's come back to yes. Specific. You accept? What's the next one?
Measurable.
measure it.
What's the other one?
Achievable.
Achievable. Okay.
Mind.
Realistic.
Realistic.
result-oriented.
What's the next one?
Time bound.
Time bound.
Time bound. Okay. thinking to set my objective, I should be specific. What I am going to do today? Am I going to do this today? Everybody knows, like which is important, which is unimportant, you need to match. Now in the case of Maria, when the child playing a soccer, you should get emotional with the child. If you go and get emotional with the child, then the child will feel bad that my parent has not come, my mother has not come. Isn't it? So you should have a specific say that today evening, come what may, I am going to attend the soccer of my child. Specific. Right? And then the next one, when it comes to measurable, you need to know how much time I am going to spend for each. My whole day when I do prioritizing, I need to do things. This is what I am doing. So that my target is, I need to reach the soccer. Isn't it? I need to schedule myself. You have to be measurable. And when it comes to achievable, don't try to set something which is not part of you. Like which you don't think that you can do. Some things are out of your control. Right? You also think which I can do, which I may not be able to do. You need to differentiate. So set those things which are achievable. Like for instance, shifting one day for the convention preparation is good. Okay? Can it be done? Okay? If I want to set my time. And then suppose if I want to do something other than this, so I should look whether I can practice or whether I can do it or not. And the realistic, one thing, if I ask you, within 2 seconds, you have to go to the reception. Can you go?
No.
Can you go?
No.
I can.
You have
Sit
to run.
here, think, visualize.
Go.
But that's not realistic in real life. Isn't it? So think what I can do, whether it is in my purview, whether it is possible or not, I need to see that. So that my thing is, it should be realistic. And then you have to be time bound. This is what I am going to do. This is my time. This is where I am going to spend.
Deadline.
And then for me, it is not smart, it is smarty. Smarty. Smarty is your timing, managing your time should be your own. It should not be others. Don't get dictated by others on your time management. So that's where you need to manage. Now, moving on to the next one. Prioritize. How do I prioritize? How do I prioritize?
Things which are important to be done first.
Okay, then
Which is important, not very but important. Once important ones are finished, then do that. And
Okay.
leave out the things which are not important. That can be done later when I
Okay. Simple, I'll tell you, we need to plan. We need to plan. We should say that whatever I can do, I can do. Whatever I cannot do, I will not do. Like, you have to make a column where you need to do yourself, where you need others to get in, others should be there, someone else can do it, and somewhere you can delay the process. You have to make these 3 columns. So prioritize the most important and which you have to do. Can you send your assistant for a soccer tournament?
No.
Why?
Because
It
a
is me
bonding-
I am supposed to do.
It is a bonding between
So
the
now you have to prioritize in such a way that who can do. Now since one of your officer told he is not there and in his absence you are supposed to
take care of his
take care of his
in charge.
some other work. Now where I can request someone to do on my behalf. Someone is doing. So I need to plan, I need to prioritize. The other one, if something can be delayed for some time, you can always plan for that. Okay. The other one, find a way to be organized. Isn't it?
Yes.
I need to use my planner. I need to make calendar. Isn't it? I need to make my progress schedule. That's what we were talking about, prioritizing things. So once we try to prioritize, once we make things, they become very easy for us. The next one,
Learn,
the most important,
learn to say no.
which we don't do.
Don't do it.
Which we
Don't do
don't do. But only thing is which I'm telling you most of the times in training, we always say that some topic if is asked, why not someone will take, not me. Isn't it? So that's where you need to say no. Now their officer requested to take care. She could have said no. She could have said no, but she didn't do that. That's a small error what she made. Because these things stop her from doing them. Right? Everybody has waiting time. You have a waiting time?
Yes.
Yes.
How to use the waiting time? How to use the waiting time?
We can plan for the next day.
No. How to use the waiting time? You are busy, you need to use a waiting time.
Planning for the next time, next work in that waiting time.
Okay?
Then
Prioritizing again the time.
How do you use it? Suppose if I want to make phone calls, what do I do now?
Or someone to talk.
I can do multitasking, that put my phone onto speaker phone and do my other work as well.
Your waiting time is there. You have gone to some place where you are waiting for the other person to invite you. And you are waiting in an office,
So I can
reception.
do that phone calls in between that time.
You attend phone calls, you make your mails, you check your mails,
Check your mails.
you check your WhatsApp messages, isn't it? So this is the waiting time we don't use. And one thing I'll tell you, most of us have a driver. Yes, most of us have a driver, or we go in a cab. Now that is also a time where you can do lot of phone work.
Yes.
Lot of things can be done. So that are the things which make everyone to do best. So utilization of waiting time is a challenge. But it's more important, how you use it is again very, very important for us. Now the other one, we have a lot of people with multitasking. Yes? How many like multitasking?
It is very stressful.
Yeah, very stressful. Come on, we'll have a small exercise here. Okay? Okay. Apple. Right? You don't like apple. You don't like
Apple.
apple. You are hungry. What will you do?
I can see orange behind that. I can eat that.
You like orange. How about you, madam?
I do go for orange only, but if he has taken it, I'll have a compromise. I'll peel off the skin and I'll take the apple.
Okay. How about you, Vinay?
I'll take apple. Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay, apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now I'll tell you one thing. You don't like apple, any of the one. And there is nothing other than apple here.
Compromise.
If it is only for the taste sake, then we'll eat it. If we are allergic
Hungry.
to it,
I'm saying I'm hungry.
yeah, for
So
the
I'm hungry. If I don't eat, I fall down.
I don't like it taste wise, then it is okay. But if I am allergic to any of the ingredients out of it,
I'm not talking about allergy. I'm talking about, gerbil. Take it like a general one.
eat
I don't
it.
like it.
Eat it.
Whether I like it or not,
Eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it.
Why?
No compromise.
why?
Survival.
Survive.
Survival to the fittest, yes. Now, don't never try multitasking. Now here, you would like to, when I'm hungry, I can take apple, isn't it? But when there is a choice, you take one of them. But here, don't give your choice. My suggestion is, anytime you do things, first thing you are going to do is the thing most you don't like. If you really want to prioritize for the day, you first to do the thing, keep them in the to-do list in the top, which should say, I am going to do this first. After this, I am going to do.
Prioritize.
Isn't it? So what happens in the due course is, you don't procrastinate. But most important thing is, don't try to accept too many things at one given point of time. The moment you accept more number of things at one given point of time, you will be the major loser, and then you will not be able to keep up with your schedule. Now the last one, why do we live in our life? Why do we live in our life?
To enjoy.
Okay? To enjoy, isn't it? So what I have to do now?
Celebrate.
Celebrate success.
I have to?
Celebrate success.
Now I want you to suggest Maria now. Three of you sit. Suggest Maria, by using these strategies, how could have she avoided? Please.
How should I avoid it?
Avoided the problems. Overcome. Please. You listed out some obstacles.
Yes, yes.
Which of these strategies you use to make her,
Since she was stressful and fatigued.
okay?
Because of that, she got up late and got up, went to bed very
No,
late.
you just discuss and come back. Discuss and come back.
According to this thing, no, he told, according to this thing, first Maria has to set an objective.
Right.
What is the objective? This one. Then she has to prioritize this one first, this one first, this one first. Then how to organize herself. She has to organize according to the professional, personal, and professional, family, and lionistic. Then she should say no to this one. When she is already overloaded, she should say no.
Right.
Next.
She could have delegated the work.
Yes,
Really.
and then instead of reading the mail at the night this one, she
She
should
made use of the waiting time.
waiting time. She could have read when the soccer tournament was going on,
Right.
or moving this one.
Okay,
anytime she could-
okay, fine. What we do is now set objectives. What could have been done by Maria in set objectives? Come on. What Maria could have done in set objectives now? You know the whole story of Maria from morning 6:30 to evening 10:30 till she went to bed. Okay? Yeah. How do you suggest? How do you suggest?
I should say.
Yeah, anybody can say that.
Suggest the first
How
thing
do
is-
you make her to set an objective?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that?
So she should know that today is the day when my daughter is performing, and come what may, I have to visit her.
Okay, I have to visit.
Yes.
So she should have the objective.
Yes.
Okay, what do you say in that? Okay, now other than that, what can be her objective apart from the
She
soccer?
was, apart from the soccer, the lionistic thing, she was given highest honor to address the convention.
Okay,
She never understood the importance of the honor.
Okay.
She should have prioritized that, should have worked half an hour, 10 minutes every day, would have lessened her burden instead of piling up and putting 15 more days and last day we can do it. Last
Okay.
day will be so stressful, no ideas will flow.
so then once she sets her objective, then prioritizing gets very easy for her, right? Now you tell me, how could have she planned properly, like, which one to do what, isn't it? She should have set her day. I'm going to do this between this time and this time. Come what may, I need to complete.
Yes.
I'm going to check mail. When I'm going to check mail? In waiting time. Suppose I'm waiting for my CEO to call me. That time I can sit in near his cabin and then start doing things. Like there are so many ways, but only thing is you need to strategize those areas. And then the concentrate one thing at a time. She was multitasking. She was multitasking. That multitasking makes anybody difficult for us. Now, for instance, come on, can someone come? Someone come here. Someone come. Anybody. Madam, you are going to throw this to Abhijit. You are going to catch. Okay? You are going to do the same thing to him. Done?
Done.
Now, you are going to throw these two and you have to catch both.
Yes, sorry.
Abhinay.
Sorry.
Thank you, madam.
Yes. What was this?
What happened now? Was it, first one was easy?
Yes.
What happened with the second one?
They
To
were two and I
concentrate.
had to focus on two things.
Which one? Then in the bargain, what happened? Both?
No, I got one left.
And you?
Which is going to come
Both
first?
went up.
Both went up. See, that's where, don't try. Task be one. Make things happen. Okay? Make things happen. That's where you have to look into that. Now, the more difficult aspect is, strategies, like we speak a lot. But how to manage, how to get things done, only the time will tell us the best things. Okay? My dear friends, what was our session objective?
Describe the importance of
Describe the
Importance.
time management.
importance of.
Time management.
Did we do that?
Yes.
How did we describe the importance?
Listed.
Listed them. Okay. Then did you understand to recognize?
Yes.
Yeah. Obstacles?
Yes.
We did it?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have identified the strategies.
Sure.
Okay. Now, before closing it, I would like to show you one small, it's a small story, what can I say, big rocks of life. Okay. Now I want each one to read what I am keeping there. Okay. Yeah, Abhijit.
One day an expert is in time.
It's a continuation. One slide I made one para, which is already there in your participant manual, but I am keeping it here. Yeah.
Okay. One day, an expert in time management was speaking to a group of business students, and to make a point, he used this illustration. As he stood in front of the group, he pulled out a large jar and set it on the table in front of him. Then he produced about a dozen of rocks and placed them one at a time into the jar. When the jar was filled to the top and no more rocks would fit inside, he asked, "Is this jar full?" Everyone in the class said, "Yes." Then he said, "Really?"
Really? Okay. Madam, now you are going to read.
He reached under the table and pulled out a bucket of the gravel. He dumped some gravel in and shook the jar, and causing pieces of gravel to work themselves down into the space between the rocks. Then he asked the group once more, "Is the jar full?" By this time the class began to understand. "Probably not," one of them answered. "Good," he replied.
Okay. Vinay.
There is an
That is an
image.
image.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. See, we were talking about gravel, isn't it? This is gravel. You know, I wanted to show because I was also confused. What is this gravel? Then I picked up an image. This is what gravel. This is a sand,
Fine.
thicker sand. Okay. So I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No,
He-
it's
Yeah.
He reached under the table and brought out a bucket of sand. He started dumping the sand in the jar, and it went into all the spaces left between the rocks and the gravel. Once more he asked the question, "Is this jar full?" "No," the class shouted. Once again he said, "Good." Then he grabbed a pitcher of water and began to pour it until the jar was filled to the brim. Then he looked at the class and asked, "What is the point of this illustration?" One student raised his hand and said, "No matter how full your schedule is, if you try really hard, you can always fit some more things in it."
Right. And then I will do the last one. "No," the speaker replied. "That's not the point. The truth this illustration teaches us is, if you don't put the big rocks in first, you will never get them in at all." What are the big rocks in your life? Your children, your loved ones, your education, your dreams, a worthy cause. Teaching or mentoring others, doing things that you love, time for yourself, your health, your significant other. Remember to put these big rocks in first, or you will never get them in at all. If you sweat about the little stuff, the gravel, sand and water, then you will find your life with little things you worry about that you don't really matter, and you will never have the time you need to spend on the most important things. As you reflect on this short story, ask yourself this question: what are the big rocks in my life? And then put those in the jar first.
Thanks.
Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. We need to understand what are those big rocks, obstacles, which are the major ones, how I won't be able to manage, how I won't be able to get, and these things will make us better. You know, like first you need to understand which are the most important. Put them first. Now suppose if I put water, is it possible for me to put the big rocks? I can, but what happens is water spills out. Isn't it? I need to know that. So that's the reason I say that. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you are the pilot of your time. The bad news is
Time
the
flies.
time flies. The good news is you are the pilot of your time. Thank you very much. This is my presentation.